Greetings. We're so thankful you're able to join us to learn more about Alliance Defending Freedom and our Church and Ministry Alliance program. ADF has spent 3 decades advocating in the courts, legislatures, and the public square in 5 key areas: religious freedom, free speech, the sanctity of life, marriage and family, and parental rights. In each of these areas, we are working to achieve generational wins that will change the law and culture for generations to come. While God has blessed us with many legal wins in these areas, these public square victories do not in and of themselves bring about the transformation of hearts, lives, and entire communities. This is only possible through the church, and it fulfilling its role as the pillar and buttress of truth. Because lawsuits and legislation can safeguard free speech and religious liberty, define marriage, expand parental rights, and make abortion illegal, but it's the church that is tasked with proclaiming the good news, making disciples of all nations, building healthy families, and making abortion unthinkable. This is why ADF created the Church and Ministry Alliance. This program exists to support gospel-centered churches and ministries so that they can boldly live out their missions and transform our culture with the truth. We know that any church or ministry that stands for God's truth will inevitably run into conflict with the culture, and perhaps our legal system too, and that is where ADF can help.
At Alliance Defending Freedom, we're committed to protecting each person's God-given right to live and speak the truth. As God's image bearers, we are made for truth. Yet today, our society is increasingly swept up in destructive lies, all of which come from the author of lies. We hear things like, gender is determined by feelings, not biology. Marriage and family are malleable. Children belong to the state, not their parents. Religious freedom is just a cover for bigotry. These lies are causing real harm to real individuals. People in our communities and in our pews are facing tough questions, new levels of cultural hostility, and in some cases, legal challenges because of these pernicious lies. And of course, the author of those lies wants to deceive, if possible, even God's people.
We have seen these pernicious lies and the hostility that comes with them impact churches and ministries in so many different ways. Let me just give you a couple of examples. Churches and ministries face pressure to hire employees who don't share their core beliefs, compromising their mission and identity. There's certain members of Congress who are trying to strip away the tax-exempt status of religious organizations. There's Christian adoption agencies that are being told they must place children in homes that contradict the agency's religious beliefs about marriage, family, and human flourishing. Banks, insurance companies, and other corporations are closing accounts and canceling services for Christian ministries because of their religious beliefs. The government is forcing some churches and ministries to cover procedures like abortion and gender transition surgery in their health insurance plans. Religious schools and daycares find themselves denied access to public benefits solely because of their faith. And pregnancy centers are being compelled to refer patients for abortion and undergoing unjust investigations. In each of these situations, ADF is here to stand up to this hostility and ensure that churches and ministries are fully protected.
Through the ADF Church and Ministry Alliance, we equip churches and ministries like yours to confidently steward their mission and protect their religious identity. We do this by focusing on 4 key areas. First, education and resources. Knowing your rights is the first step in stewarding your mission. We provide a wealth of learning opportunities, from engaging live streams, practical legal guides, and on-demand videos. And when breaking news impacts churches and ministries, we keep you informed and prepared to navigate the legal landscape. Second, community connection. You are not alone. Our alliance connects you with like-minded leaders dedicated to advancing religious freedom and setting precedents that safeguard the church for generations to come. Third, constituent support. Our commitment extends beyond churches and ministries. We're also here to help your congregants understand and confidently live out their rights in the workplace, schools, and public square. And fourth, the core of our program, legal support. It all starts with the Religious Liberty Assessment. As a member, you'll complete a simple form detailing your ministry's practices and submit your core documents. An attorney will review both and provide personalized feedback to strengthen your legal foundation and address any vulnerabilities. This assessment also sets the stage for ongoing support and consultation. You'll also have access to attorney support for any legal questions that come up. And if the matter falls outside our expertise, we can connect you with a specialist from our Allied Attorney Network, comprising of over 4,500 Christian attorneys nationwide, well-versed in a wide range of legal areas. Finally, if your ministry faces a legal dispute related to religious freedom, we'll conduct a case assessment to determine the best course of action. When appropriate, ADF's legal team may litigate the case at no cost to your ministry. By joining the ADF Church Ministry Alliance, you'll have the legal protection, support, and resources needed to safeguard your ministry and confidently advance its mission.
Many times we need to pray into situations, and ADF helps to educate the local church on topics that they should pray about and what's happening in current events that they need to know about as they pray. There are so many benefits to joining ADF in advance, and that's why we recommend to all of our ministers and all of our churches, be a member of ADF.
It is such a valuable tool. In fact, I'll go beyond that. I'll say it is an essential tool in ministry. If you're going to minister in the 21st century in America, you absolutely have to have a partner like ADF. You will just be able to minister more confidently and follow your call as they follow theirs.
The Church and Ministry Alliance serves a diverse community of God's people, united in purpose, yet distinct in calling. Just as the Apostle Paul speaks of one body with many parts in 1 Corinthians 12, we embrace the unique roles each ministry plays in God's grand design. Our members span a broad spectrum: churches of various denominations, Christian schools nurturing young minds, camps fostering spiritual growth, rescue missions serving the vulnerable, pregnancy centers supporting expectant mothers and the unborn, and institutions of higher education shaping future leaders. From traditional congregations to innovative outreach programs, we stand with all who live out the Great Commandment and seek to fulfill the Great Commission. Each ministry we serve is a vital part of the body of Christ, working together to transform lives and culture through the power of the gospel.
Well, we love our partnership with ADF and the Church and Ministry Alliance. The templates that the Church and Ministry Alliance provides for our missions, the ability to be able to pick up a phone and have a conversation with an attorney about a question that they might have or a challenge that they have in ministry is something that is so important, I believe, in looking at helping bring missions into the Church and Ministry Alliance of ADF and the partnership that we have between the Church and Ministry Alliance and Citygate Network.
We need protection. We need people who speak legalese and being able to have ADF lawyers who we can reach out to at a moment's notice and get reviews on documents we can reach out to, and they can defend us when we need it. I think it helps us to be more bold, and we should be bold in this day and age. So I would encourage any pastor who cares about the freedoms and the civil liberties that we have in this nation to become a member church.
And that's what ADF does: assures you, protects you, informs you, guides you, gives you wisdom that gives that clarity that we're on track to fulfill what God has called us to fulfill.
When we walk boldly into the wind together and do the hard things to which God has called us, we can expect God to bring astonishing results. And we can expect these results because He's already delivered them time and time again. You may be familiar, for example, with ADF's case, Masterpiece Cake Shop, where the Supreme Court held that the state of Colorado was wrong in punishing a Christian cake artist for declining to design a custom wedding cake for a same-sex marriage. Or you may be familiar with the Dobbs case, the Supreme Court's historic ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade. But you may not be as familiar with some of ADF's other cases at the Supreme Court, where God has delivered astonishing results for our clients who are churches and ministries. In Reed versus Town and Gilbert, for example, ADF represented a small Arizona church challenging a local sign ordinance that discriminated against churches. The Supreme Court said that this violated the First Amendment and that the government must treat religious organizations equally in the way that it regulates speech. In NIFLA, ADF represented pregnancy centers in California in a case where the Supreme Court held that the government could not force pro-life pregnancy centers to advertise abortion services. And in Trinity Lutheran, ADF represented a Christian church and preschool that was denied access to a government program that provided recycled tire materials for playground surfaces. In all of these cases, God delivered important legal victories that not only protected our clients, but that set precedent protecting every church and ministry in the country. So, while no one ever wants to have to go to court, that becomes necessary from time to time. And if your church or ministry ever finds yourself in that situation, ADF will be here to assess your matter to determine how we can help. If we decide to take the case, we'll walk through it with you together, potentially all the way to the Supreme Court. And you'll have the assurance of knowing that ADF never charges our clients anything for representing them in court. And we'll have the opportunity to see God produce astonishing results once again.
There's one thing to say that people care about our religious liberties. There's another thing to say that we'll go all the way to the Supreme Court. Whatever it takes to protect your mission as a school leader, ADF will take it all the way. They do it better than anyone, and they do it because we have a like-minded, transcendent commitment, a transcendent cause. And I highly recommend all of our schools, even schools outside of ACSI, to bring ADF into your organization.
Psalm 102:18 says, "Let this be written for a future generation, that a people not yet created may praise the Lord." And for me, that's what our battle is about. It's for the future generations. It's not just for the babies born to our clients, it's for the generations to come. And the Church and Ministry Alliance helps us to carry out our mission, hopefully long into the future.
As you courageously lead your church or ministry through this generational moment, legal challenges can arise that distract from your mission and try to stifle your witness. The ADF Church and Ministry Alliance is here to provide the legal education and support you need to stay focused on your gospel mission. By joining, you'll gain access to legal guidance, valuable resources, and a community of like-minded leaders. Visit adfchurchalliance.org to become a member today and start building a solid legal foundation for your ministry.